Well, joining us now here in LA is the Vice Chairman of the California Democratic Party, Eric Bauman. Also here is James Lacy, author of the book Taxophornia and a Donald Trump supporter.
Joining us from Sacramento, California, Republican strategist Rob Stutzman with the Stop the Trump campaign. And I just want to read out a statement that we've just received from the Never Trump campaign. They're pushing on with all of this. It reads, if nominated, he, as in Trump, will lose in historic fashion, threaten down-ballot campaigns, and likely usher in a Clinton presidency. This is indisputable when 3 out of 4 women view him negatively, and solid red states like Utah and Mississippi are in play. So, Rob, to you, what else can you do?
Well, we're going to press on here in California. You know, Chairman Priebus, we understand, has declared Trump the presumptive nominee. However, we still get the vote in California. John Kasich has said he's pushing on. And we'll be encouraging California voters to stop and take a second look at this. They're going to get 4 weeks of looking at Donald Trump as their presumptive nominee, and we're going to hope they have some remorse and turn this thing around still before Cleveland.
And James?
Buyer's remorse?
Yeah, Rob, you're not going to raise any money. You're not going to get anybody that's going to donate anything substantial. You know, this whole Cruz campaign that was supposed to be so great, the fact that Cruz dropped out today shows that he just didn't have confidence in California. His so-called 41,000 volunteers, Ron Nearing out there talking about how they were organized for a year. You're not going to do any better than the Cruz campaign can do. And the reality is that you're just, you know, going to speak on the media and try and get some free media because you're not going to have any funding to do anything. Trump's on his way. He's unstoppable. That's just the way it's going to be. And the sooner that we can get together and focus on beating Hillary... Oh, well, he's going to get the nomination, but the sooner that we pull together, that people like you and me work together, the more chance we're going to have to beat Hillary Clinton, and that's the focus.
Okay, well,
Jim, what's the message?
Sorry, I just want to bring Eric in here because, Eric, you know, this was billed as Trump's last stand, the Stop Trump campaign, the last stand, the Alamo, if you like. Trump went out of his way to talk about that, the barrage of negative ads that he was hit with in Indiana. He said this just a few hours ago in his victory speech.
60,000 negative ads, most of which are absolutely false and disgusting. And I said, how can anybody endure this?
Eric, as a Democrat, when you hear 60,000 negative ads, $8 million in one state, and it didn't make a dent, are you worried about that as a Democrat for a general election?
First of all, remember who you're talking to. You're talking to a Republican primary electorate. You're not talking to a general electorate in America where black people and brown people and women who are of a progressive and liberal and even moderate mindset are part of it. And the reality is this. When Donald Trump is no longer in the Republican Party's border, and real people have to discuss this, his sexist, misogynistic, and racist commentary is going to come back to haunt him. Because most Americans don't agree with his positions. Most Americans don't think that the way he speaks is something that represents America in a good and positive way.
James, to bring you in here, that point that was raised by Rob, can he withstand the scrutiny? Can he withstand the scrutiny?
Of course he can. This is almost almost a ridiculous argument. Jeb Bush's PAC spent $30 to $40 million saying exactly what you just said.
But he said it to Republicans. He said it only to Jim. He said it only to Republicans. So don't obscure the issue here. Okay, I know you like to obfuscate. I know you like to play that little game, but the reality is he said it to Republicans because that's who was voting in the Republican primary.
There's been over $100 million spent. You see, now, come on, let me talk.
Rob,
I got to deal with a Democrat on one side and a Republican on the other. They don't want to let a Trump spokesman speak. Let me just get out of it. There's been over $100 million spent in negative ads on Donald Trump in this campaign for the whole time. The Democrats are now going to try and spend another $20 million, basically repeating everything that's been said. That was reported in the news. And now, Rob, you're going to try and go out there and raise whatever you're going to be able to raise, you know, $200,000 or $300,000 to put out ads that say exactly the same thing that the Democrats are going to say against our Republican candidate, and that's already been said. You know what? It's been done, and Donald Trump got 63% of the vote in New York. If he came into California and contested Cruz, he'd get 60%. The poll said 54% to 20%. That's 34%. The last time you and I talked on this show, you said that those polls were outliers.
Okay,
now we have a presumptive nominee.
I want to raise
Why can't you and I pull together and support Trump?
The fallacy of these numbers is those are of Republicans.
Hold that. Over to Rob. You get a right to reply, Rob.
Thank you, John. Look, what Jim's candidate has to start to demonstrate is how he's going to be the nominee that can unite a party. What you typically hear from Trump is what you see out of Jim tonight, which is a bunch of chest thumping about winning this great prize of the Republican nomination, which he very well may be on his way to. But Eric's already outlined the problem with the numbers once you get outside the Republican primary. And not only does he not have any appeal, we see these horrifically high negatives with general election voters, but there is a sector of Republican voters, about 20%, who out of principle don't want to vote for Donald Trump. He's not a conservative. They're not willing to just go along blindly with a nominee that does not stand upon any type of conservative principles.
Look,
a party without principles is just a gang. Well, it does matter. How does Trump? What does Trump have to say to conservatives?
Crippled America. Read Crippled America. His tax plan is a Reagan-esque tax plan that's supported by Larry Kudlow. He supports a type of reductions in spending. He supports a strong military. But let me tell you something. There's a Rasmussen poll that just came out.
He's an isolationist.
Donald Trump. Okay, so he's coming back. You never want to let me talk. Donald Trump is leading Hillary Clinton 41 to 39 nationally in the Rasmussen poll. So do you guys want to tell me that's the outlier?
You found the one
time I was on the show, Rob, you told me that a poll where I said that Trump was ahead by 20 points was an outlier.
I'm calling time between you two. I'm bringing in Eric as well. You heard him mention.
You're both in trouble.
Yes, you both have to stand in a corner at the end of this. I want to bring you into that point, that Rasmussen poll, and also your voiced opposition to Trump and talking about building a wall
to keep him out of California.
So look, here's the reality. When you have some, this was my favorite part of the Republican election this year. Okay, because after Mitt Romney lost and the Republican Party spent $13.5 million doing a study to figure out why they lost, the three biggest things they were told was to tone down their rhetoric, stop bashing immigrants, and stop bashing gays. So Reince Priebus tries to do that. Trump comes in and he starts in, we got to build a wall because they're rapists and they're drug addicts and they're murderers. And then Ted Cruz takes them, his 30-foot wall is not high enough. A 50-foot wall is higher. So I called on Governor Brown and I said, let's build a wall around California. Let's protect California from his negative campaigning. And while we're at it, we'll create thousands of good union jobs to build that wall.
With that, we're going to continue this next hour because all you guys are coming back and you'll join us an hour from now. So thank you all. We appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
A short break.
Yes.